Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you haven't seen this face before,
wow,
here it is. You can call me Anna Routledge. And as I've already made clear, I am going to be talking about how to be a that girl in 2023. Now, when you look at what it means to be a that girl online, you normally get the definition of a that girl is becoming the best version of yourself, or as Urban Dictionary likes to say. Known mostly on TikTok, that girl is a girl that gets up at 5 AM, meditates, drinks smoothies, has showers every day, journaling, eating only healthy food, goes to the gym every day, successful in many ways. This is the stereotype that is typically on TikTok and films, but most likely rich too. And I want to make it very, very clear right now that you are already an it girl. She is within you, okay? She is yelling to get out, so let her out. And I'm gonna tell you how you can let her out in this video. Now, I'm not telling you that you are that girl just to make you feel better about yourself, because that is not the intention of this video. I'm just telling you that it is possible that you too can be a that girl, and you do not need to be getting up at 5 AM, having those chia seed smoothies, or having a green juice every morning in order to be a that girl. That is not what I'm telling you. That might be what Pinterest or TikTok or Instagram wants you to think, but I'm here to tell you that they're wrong. And as much as those aesthetic videos are so nice to watch, like don't get me wrong, I love watching it, I'm like, this is aesthetic to the eye, it's not a realistic life. And I don't want myself, and I don't want people watching those videos or even this video to think that like that is the only way that I'm gonna be successful, or I'm like gonna value myself off these videos that I see online, because no. Anyway, let's get into the video. I put these tips together because I genuinely think they're going to help you. They're helping me. I'm on my journey. We might be at different points of our journey, but we've both probably had different starting points. I am nowhere near the finish line, but I'm definitely on my way there. If there even is a finish line, I don't really know, because we always want something more. We always want something better. I am feeling so much better about myself than I was like even a year ago. Like I was just in a completely different headspace, and I am feeling so much better and positive and creative, and just these are the things that I've done, the shifts in my mindset that I've had that have helped me get to where I am now, and which are helping me push myself forward. So I really want to share those to you so you too can be a that girl, because I am a that girl. That was awful, I'm so sorry. Point number one, do something because you want to do it, not because you think you should be doing it. Just because the internet told you so doesn't mean it's right, okay? The internet has said a lot of things. It said a lot of wrong things. It said a lot of right things. But you should listen to yourself at the end of the day. And if it's something that you want to do and you've got that motivation from the internet, fantastic. Go do it. But if you're like, oh, I don't really like that, but I want to be like her, don't do it. Don't do it. Like, that's not you. Like, it's really important to make yourself very clear of what you want to do, and make sure you're asking yourself the questions of like, am I living somebody else's life? Like, am I living my life through somebody else's design? And I think it's really important that you dig deeper into the reason why you have a certain goal, like why you want to do something. Is it because, I don't know, maybe your friends are doing it and you're like, oh, maybe I want to be cool like them. I want to be accepted by my friends, so I'm going to do it. Or I don't know, maybe there's a guy you like or a girl you like and you're like, they do it, so I'm going to do it because I want to be liked by them. It's not because it has any interest in you. Like, fair enough if there's something maybe like a friend or a partner or a love interest is doing and you're like, oh, that's something I wanted to do, and it's like pushing you to do it because you're seeing someone else do it, then fantastic. It's something that resonates with you, do it. But if you have no inner desire to do something at all, like if you're like, oh no, it's like a chore, don't do it. Like just don't. That's what I'm gonna say, just don't do it. Find what makes you happy inside and have a real connection to that goal. Otherwise, you're not gonna stick with it and you're gonna fail, and then people are gonna realize that you're a fraud. Number two, focus on the small habits that are gonna make your life better, okay? I know that could mean anything from like not using your phone before bed or before waking up. That's not possible. For example, using your phone. Try not to use it before you go to bed. Try not to use it as soon as you wake up. Try meal prepping. Maybe if you're really bad at making sure you eat enough, or make sure that you meal prep, you know what you're eating, make your life a little bit easier. Make those small habits kind of have less resistance, which makes everything a lot easier and to follow through. Whatever goal it is that you have, like one thing that I'm working on at the minute is trying not to be on my mobile phone before bed for at least like maybe 20 minutes or something, like ideally an hour, but you know, life is full of stuff. I feel like I cannot do that yet. I'll work to that. But like, try not being on your phone for like a little bit before bed. And when you wake up, don't just roll over and go on your phone. That's something that I found myself doing more and more and more and more, to the point that I would wake up at, like, for example, 7 o'clock in the morning, be on my phone until like 8, and I'm like, oh, I didn't do the things that I wanted to do, like go for a run. And what have I done? I've literally just been in bed. All that is a habit, and it's something that, you know, it's not benefiting. It's not benefiting. Not better. It's not benefiting. It's not benefiting me in any way. So what I did was I bought myself an alarm clock to put in my room, and it's one of those like sunlight alarm clocks, and I just bought a cheap one. I was gonna buy like a more expensive one, but I was like, nah, they all do the same thing. I don't need a fancy one. It just needs to wake me up in the morning. So I got one off Amazon. It was like, I think I paid like 39 or 40 euros for it, and it does the job. It helps me get up. I leave my phone outside the room on charge. I have a backup alarm on my phone just in case I might not wake up, but I have it in the other room so I can hear it. But 9 times out of 10, I'll wake up with that alarm. I feel so much more refreshed, and I'm able to get up and out of bed and do something before checking my phone. And another one, for example, is that I can be really bad at making sure I eat enough food. Like, I might be hungry, but I can be super lazy. Like, I'm like, oh, I really cannot be bothered to like cook at all. And one thing I can do, and I will start doing, is meal prepping. So like making sure that I cook enough meals, have them in the fridge, so that like when I cannot be bothered to cook, at least I have food and I'm not gonna skimp out and maybe like have a bad day of eating, which is then gonna affect my like next day, etc. Those kind of things. Just, they're like tiny little small habits. They just change like a little thing. I'm trying to think of another example. Like when you're a kid, I don't know if anybody else was the same, when my parents would tell me all the time, like, put on your seatbelt, put on your seatbelt, put on your seatbelt, as soon as I got in the car, and I was like, nah. Like, I would be so adamant not to wear my seatbelt for some reason. Sorry to my parents for being like that, but I would like be like, I'm not gonna wear my seatbelt, I'm gonna take it off. But now it's so wired in my brain, as I'm sure it is with you guys. Like when you get in the car, I don't even remember putting on my seatbelt, but it's there, it's on. It's locked and loaded, but I do not remember putting that on. And that is literally the idea of how I want to make all these small habits sink into my brain, is like, I am not the person that goes on my phone in the morning. That is not my thing. And it's just all these small habits which then end up having very long-term and massive results. If I save myself like those mornings of like not going on my phone, but I'm able to get up and get out and go for my run or do something, or have breakfast like earlier, or meditate, I don't know, spend that time that I maybe spend on my phone for like 20 minutes or an hour in the morning doing something else, and over time that return of investment is so much greater than what checking Instagram and TikTok. What is that gonna give me? Nothing. So yeah, that's one small goal. Like, small goals have big return on investments. Point number 3 is to stay consistent on whatever goal it is that you have. It's just stay consistent. That's what I can say. Like in the last few years, I would say like a year, 2 years, I've learned the importance of consistency, and I really regret not having been more consistent in my life, because I've done so many things. I have ADHD, disclaimer, but I mean that's still not, well, that's a little bit of an excuse. Not an excuse, but I have a disadvantage maybe to neurodivergent people. Like showing up for yourself every single day, and I've said this before, and that's why I'm making these videos now, is because I'm showing up for myself. Like, for instance, this video, I've been putting it off for a few days, and I was like, I'm just gonna film it now, I'm gonna go for it. It might be poopy. It might be a big old poop. Okay, big poop emoji right here. This is that video. If you don't do, you don't improve. Like, it can always be an idea. Like, I can be like, oh, I need to plan the idea, like the video idea out better. I need to blah 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 blah. I need to do research. How am I gonna edit it? How am I gonna do this? There's always gonna be a what if. There's always gonna be a blocker. But like, especially when it comes to creative stuff or learning anything, just do it. And I am doing it. Like, I am living proof of just doing it. And there's so many other people where they've spoken about being really shit before, like their first videos, or I don't know, their first website they built or anything. It's gonna be shit. The first things you do is gonna be shit. You might feel like you are shit but you're not. You're creating these habits and this consistency of showing up for yourself, and you are going to be improving every single day, every single week, every single month. Whatever it is you're doing, as long as you're showing up for yourself and being consistent in whatever it is, you are going to improve, and that is like a guaranteed effect of consistency. So just be consistent. I don't know, for instance, I need to be way better with my consistency with learning Spanish. I have lived in Spain. It is embarrassing. For so many years, I'm not going to say how many years I've lived here in total in my whole entire life, and I'm still not fluent in Spanish, but that is down to me. Like, okay, a little bit, my parents didn't put me in Spanish school, but that's an excuse I've been holding for my whole entire life, and I'm going to admit that right now on camera. But it comes down to me, I just don't put in the time, I don't put in the effort. Like, I practice here and there and I'll have this like burst of like, yes, and then I'll put in all the work, but that's not consistent. It's not like I'm showing up for myself all the time. I'm just having this little burst of energy, I'll go for it, but I'm not staying consistent. So, and I just think back now and I'm like, damn, if I'd stayed consistent and done 5 minutes, every single day, learn a word every single day, like I would have probably been fluent by now. I would have been fluent by now, but I didn't. Like, I was like thinking too big. Like, I had to go hard or go home, and I kept going home. I wasn't going hard. So yeah, it's just, I'm learning the importance now, maybe a little bit, well, not late, but later than I would have liked to, the importance of consistency and showing up and learning. And yeah, that in itself, gold mine. Number 4 is to have a clear goal. So to understand, like we've just mentioned this before, is like understanding the why. Why are you working towards something? What does it mean to you? And again, it just comes back to that whole thing, like digging deep into the reason and why you're doing something. And like just to know where you're heading towards. And we all know that kind of the future can change, things can change, but to have an idea of the direction that you're going in, and to have like a picture of the person that you want to be in your head, and to visualize it as much as you can. I know some people can't visualize as well as others. Just to understand why you want to do something and who you want to become, and to picture yourself in the future. I think that's a really good way of staying on top of your goals. And again, all these like points are very interlinked, to be fair. But for example, a goal of mine this year is to run a half marathon. I have always referred to myself as someone who is not a runner. I used to get shin splints, like I couldn't run, my back would hurt, like my lower back, like I was just terrible. But then over the last maybe month and a half, I've like switched, and I'm like, no, I am a runner. I went and I bought myself some running shoes. I got myself a running belt. I'm going out for runs. It doesn't matter if I do a kilometer. I think I've changed my mindset rather than like, I'm just gonna run a half marathon. Oh, but I'm gonna find it so hard because how do people do that? Because I'm not a runner. Like, I don't think I'll be capable to be like, no, I am a runner. I'm improving my running skills because that's what runners do. And I'm gonna run a half marathon because that is also what runners do, and I'm gonna be able to do it. And it's just that little switch in your mind where it's like, okay, I get up in the morning, doesn't feel like as much of a chore anymore to run, because I'm like, no, like I'm a runner, I practice running. Rather than like, oh, I have to run and it hurts because that's something I have to do to achieve this goal, that I'll probably achieve the goal and then probably never run again, you know? For me to become a runner, I know it's not gonna happen maybe super quick, like 2 months. Like, I'm not gonna be training every single day. It's like understanding the time that it takes as well to achieve a goal. Like, for instance, as well, like with my YouTube channel, like I really wanna grow, I wanna get better, but that's not gonna happen overnight. And it's just understanding like, okay, how much time does it take to film a video, to script a video, to edit the video, to make the thumbnail? Like, understanding like, this is how much time I have. Like, I'm not gonna be like, I'm gonna do a video every single day because I wanna be a YouTuber now. It's like, no, I don't have the time to do that. So understanding the time it takes to achieve goals, putting those things in place. And also don't get disheartened if you see other people achieving your goals like faster than you, because let's be honest, like, okay, Molly May might have said that we all have 24 hours in a day, but quite frankly, we do not. Molly May. But yeah, that was such a meme. But basically, we don't all have the same 24 hours in a day. Like, it depends. Like, maybe you have to commute. Maybe someone doesn't. They work remotely. Maybe they don't have a job. Maybe they have a part-time job. Maybe you have kids. Maybe, I don't know. Like, it depends. Everyone's different. Everyone's had a different upbringing, different life. Everyone's in different circumstances. So there's no point comparing yourself to somebody else and their goals, because then you're going to feel probably maybe inadequate. So don't do that either. But just know what it is to you, and like how much time do you have, and just compare yourself to yourself all the time, not to other people. And running off the back of that, number 5, get clear on your values. So understand what is important to you, and again, all linked, okay? But understand what is important. Like, for instance, one of my top values is balance. I want to be able to balance everything in my life. I don't want to be someone that is just work, doesn't have time for friends, family, I don't know, chilling and watching TikTok. Like, I don't know, I want to have a balance for everything. So that's something that's really important for me, is making sure that I have time for everything, that I'm not going to overload myself and not put my attention on one thing. Like, I love balance, and that's something that I value. Or independence is something else. Control is something else. Creativity. So if someone was like, I'm going to give you £1 million and in return, you can never be creative again, I'd be like, no, because that's one of my values. Like, I like being creative. So no, bye. Number 6 is practicing self-love and self-care. At the end of the day, you only really have yourself, and you might have family, you might have a partner, you might have friends, and you know, they might love and care for you. But the most important thing is that you love and you care for yourself. And that's something that I've been trying to get better at. When I went through my values with my therapist, she was like, yeah, okay, but you're referring all of these values to other people. I can't remember what one of them was. I think it was like my empathy is one of my values because I like to have empathy towards other people. But she was like, okay, but none of these are like directed at you, they're directed at other people. Like, so I think it's really important that you are very self-aware of yourself. You put in the time and the effort for you, listen to yourself, like take yourself on dates, do nice things for you, like stop just people pleasing everybody else and show up for yourself because you want to make you happy, not because you want to make somebody else happy. And finally, point number 7 is that remember that it is okay to have days when you don't want to do anything, when you feel like ass, when you just feel like you don't want to do anything, you want to shut off from the world, or you maybe feel like everything's going wrong. Like, that's absolutely fine, and that's just part of being human. Not every single day is going to be on a high. Like, it's going to be up and down, and I know you know that, and I know that too. And it's just super important, again, self-awareness. Become aware of yourself and just know that it's okay to have a bad day. That doesn't mean you failed, that doesn't mean anything, doesn't mean you're not a bad bitch, just means you're having a bad day. Have a nap, have a little chocolate. I don't know, you might not like chocolate, but do you? But just chill, watch a bit of Netflix, have an early night, I don't know, do whatever you want, whatever makes you feel happy, but don't be so hard on yourself. As long as you can like become aware of that and bounce back and come back to maybe like your goals in a day, that is fine, or 2 days, or a week, whatever it is that you need to time off, it's okay to take that break. And I think that's really important, to not be so hard on yourself, because then I feel like it ends up making this like downward spiral of like, I'm not good enough and I'm never going to achieve anything, when that's not true at all. So yeah, that's my advice. I now hope that with all these points that you are one step closer to finding your inner that girl. But I hope you enjoyed the video. I am still exploring myself with my creativity. And I would love if you came along and watched my creations going forward. I love talking to you guys. I am enjoying being back to my ways of talking to the camera and feeling used to it again. So yeah, I would love if you joined on my journey. That would mean the world.